Dude, is the intro going on or no? You're such a jag.
Dude, I'm fucking with you each week, every week.
Dude,
No, actually, I want to wait actually on the intro because I want them to come right in right after the intro. So.
Okay, so we're giving them the studio wrestler treatment. Okay.
Yeah, they get the special treatment.
Okay. Thanks for the warning. I appreciate that. The reason I do that is
I wasn't gonna warn you. I want to make you look like a jackass.
The reason we do that is because there's always a little delay before the intro comes up. So, but take it away, host.
Well, you were the one that had the question or whatever.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
introduce yourself,
society. Sean Bowman,
Mikey B. So, we always discuss, but prior to the podcast, pretty much probably like 10 minutes before we come on, what we're going to talk about. So I wanted to ask the question to Sean, and then I got a story too. What was the most awkward, either situation or paranormal thing that has happened to you?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
All right, I'll answer, and then you think while I answer.
All right.
Does that work?
Well, first off, we have Cryptic Paranormal on tonight, so
We do.
make sure
We're going to pose
we're
this
just gonna
question to
have a
them too, so they're backstage listening, so you guys get the heads up at least. But anyways, my awkward one. So it's not the ball grab at Monroe House, because I've said that one a million times, or getting hit on by a female spirit at Trans-Allegheny. I would say it was the last time we were at the Monroe House. I was taking a poop, and while I'm in there, I kept hearing stuff moving around outside the door. And so I took my cell phone and put it in selfie mode. And I'm like, can you make that noise again? But no, it was really awkward. I did end up turning the spirit box on. I didn't get to review it yet. And then eventually Randall actually started walking by, and I was like, that can't be a ghost. Is someone out there? And he's like, yeah, it's me. But yeah, taking a poop, I guess that's, outside of sleeping, that's probably the most vulnerable thing you can do, put yourself in during an investigation. So it does make sense.
I don't know about awkward, but I guess talking about getting hit on or whatever, the time at Loveland or whatever, when I guess that one entity thought I was her protector or whatever, I guess was kind of awkward maybe.
Yeah. She like those baby making calves, man. She's like, dang, I gotta get this boy right here. Who just said nipples?
That was Freighter.
Hell yeah, bro.
But we have very special guests tonight: Cryptic Paranormal, Goose, D Nice, Heisenberg, and we're gonna bring them out right now.
Did you hear a bomb in the night? In the night, bomb in the night. In the night, bomb in the night. Did you hear a bomb in the night? In the night, bomb in the night.
Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh's gone to the Super Bowl, here we go.
Oh my god.
So now you can shit on Pittsburgh.
I'm not prepared for that.
Holy shit, you guys did some deep diving. You fucking freaks.
That was great,
Oh,
except
good.
the Pittsburgh part.
I thought you'd like that one, Heisenberg.
I can see why you thought we were going to say the F word as soon as we came on. Makes sense now.
Sorry for that drop.
That was
No worries.
Yeah.
We explained the 2-minute rule, and then Sean does that thing. He's like, I'm just fucking jagging you. Like,
Right.
so much for the 2-minute rule.
Never followed rules.
I'm backstage like, no, not that one. Don't say that one.
So you guys
Oh
want
my
to
God.
introduce yourselves and what you guys bring to the field?
Absolutely nothing.
Show
Same.
every week, Thursday night. We just talk about stupid shit. I'm just kidding.
We do.
Go ahead, Denise. You start.
Why? So you guys could try to think of something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna copy yours, so just be ready for that.
No, I'm Denise. I am a volunteer at Madison Seminary. Maybe that's a contributing factor. As far as our podcast goes, we consider ourselves to be the dive bar of paranormal podcasts because we just hang out every Thursday night with friends and there's no itinerary, there's no agenda. We just talk about whatever we feel like talking about. We're not trying to solve any big mysteries or anything or, get a claim to fame. We're just having a good time. That's
Cool.
pretty much it.
I like to debate Denise. That's about
Yes,
it.
that's true. He likes to argue with me.
Debate.
Yeah. Yeah. Heisenberg likes to be really quiet until he either has a really smart ass funny comment or he wants to like just debate the hell out of Denise. And it's perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I'm Ray Gooseby, but you guys don't know who that is. I'm the Goose. I've been in the paranormal a while. I actually did the math. I've been researching paranormal for like 34 years. So that kind of dates me.
That's a long
Old.
time.
Yeah, well, when you start having shit happen to you as a kid and nobody to talk to, you got to start figuring it out yourself. But yeah, and I started this show, the Cryptic Paranormal show. I was actually a guest on the show, and the guy who ran it at the time, right after the show, him and his co-host Laura are like, "We want you on the show full time." I'm like, what? It's like we just had a good chemistry, and we went really well. So we ran it for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then Laura and Steve, the original people who started the show, had to drop off, and they were like, "Just run with it. It's your show now." So Heisenberg had started hanging out in the studio anyway, so I figured, a natural just for him to get his face on the show, and then COVID hit, so we stopped doing it at the studio and started doing it on StreamYard. And we asked Denise because we had her on a couple times before, and she's just got a great presence on the show. And all three of us are like brothers and sisters. We're constantly talking to each other and chatting and whatever. Just it's family, friends. We have just a good time. So talking about anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna.
I was like that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was like that random guest, when somebody would cancel on them or, something would happen, then I would go on as like, a volunteer at Madison. Like, oh, we got Denise. And then I was working a nighttime job at the time. And then I quit that job during COVID. And so I just texted them and I was like, hey, if you guys ever need a backup guest or anything, let me know because I'm not working Thursday nights anymore. And they were like, well, Goose was like, do you want to be a co-host? Heisenberg was like, no, I never agreed to this.
She twisted our arms. She's lying. She like twisted our arms to like join. Like she actually hurt. She actually hurt Ray.
It was like, I'll buy your merch for you. And they were like, okay.
Yeah. Like, sweet. Somebody to take that shit over.
Yeah.
Nice.
Roscoe.
Hey, Roscoe.
So we'll pose the same question that we had. What are your most awkward moments, whether investigating or prior to investigating? Mine was, taking a poop. Sean's was kind of getting hit on. What kind of weird stuff do you guys have going on?
Heisenberg.
Why do I have to start?
I just throw it out and let you guys debate.
You never go first.
Yeah, you go first.
I feel like all of your investigations are awkward because you're always taking some lady home.
I was gonna say that's what the old ladies at Madison, they dig me, man.
Nice. So
They
you
come
always have
home.
attachment go home with you?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
time.
wow. Now, do they stay there for a while or no?
No,
Just
I'm
a
usually like,
one-night
you can go
stand?
back now.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had one that you took home and then like you got a name or something at home, and then you went back to Madison and later on, and then ended up getting that same name?
No, I've never gotten that. It's usually they usually just kind of give me signs there, like when it happens, and this has happened a couple times. The day after Madison, the shower curtain falls.
Oh, okay.
Like, while you're in it,
No.
that would be even funnier.
Yeah,
that would be funnier.
Oh yeah.
You should have just went with it, Heisenberg.
I gotta get out of. I have the towel up there, like when you ladies do. Like I've.
Getting his own little show.
Yeah, that's their way of saying, "Come in here, big boy."
Right?
It's always the day after.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Never any other time.
Now, how do you know it's the ladies and not just some dude trying to hang out?
I mean, it could be anybody they want, man. But
Yes, that's a good point. I don't.
and I'm also a member of demonic shuffleboard teams.
Oh, yes.
Elaborate. Yeah, how does that work out?
Well, I don't really want to go too much into it because it's probably a touchy subject. So,
Still is.
Yeah.
So Denise, go ahead. What's your thing?
We're talking about awkward.
Mhm.
I don't know, because to be honest, I really just do stupid shit on the regular. I feel like one of the most embarrassing things
Now we're talking.
was when we went to Crescent and I saw somebody sitting in front of me, like somebody that came with us. And I'm just like sitting in the chapel. We're doing all these little investigations, but we're being very quiet, all sitting very separate. It's dark. Nobody has a flashlight on. And after like 15 minutes, somebody turned a flashlight on and that guy wasn't there anymore. And I was freaking out. I was like, who's fucking with me? This is not funny. Who was sitting there? Who was sitting? I'm explaining him and I'm screaming. And then I start crying in front of all these people that I had never met because the man disappeared. That was a little bit embarrassing, more than awkward. I guess it was awkward.
It kind of was awkward too.
Yeah. It was definitely a first for me. I have no qualms about like being scared on an investigation. Everybody knows that I'm probably going to be scared, but that was like, I had never like cried at an investigation and accused everyone of lying to me and a man hiding somewhere. So that was a little awkward. But at least
yes,
it was
my turn.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of my first big investigations with the first group that I was with. We were at Waverly Hills, and we were in this room. It was super dark. We're all like, and the leader of our group was like, let's do a silent session. Let's just shit. Let's sit and listen.
all shit
I mean,
together.
That's kind of awkward, I
that
guess.
would be really awkward.
Yeah, get that shit circle going.
right.
Let's all just sit around, be really quiet. Let's have a silent vigil, see what we can hear. I didn't know he was running his recorder at the time, but I fell asleep like almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I just wake up, everybody's laughing their asses off. He's like, "Hey, dude, he's like, he's like, we got a funny EVP, you got to listen to it." And he plays it back, and it's just me snoring like a fucking dog. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I tend to like walk into shit a lot and scare the shit out of people around me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at that, knocking shit over. But yeah, I think falling asleep and just like having the whole group laughing at me when I wake up was pretty fucked up.
I like that they played the recording. Like,
Yeah,
we got this
right.
amazing.
I didn't know he was recording. I
Okay.
thought we were just being quiet and listening, but no, that wasn't the case.
At least they didn't like draw penises on your head or something.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you were with
Sean
the right
fell
group
asleep.
back then.
Yeah.
Sean falls asleep.
Sean fell
Hinsdale.
asleep.
Hinsdale, I was on a
Hinsdale.
live doing an
Yeah.
Estes and I fell asleep.
People were commenting on the live, like, why are we fucking watching this dude sleeping in a chair right now?
And I really did like fall asleep. Randall was like filming me in the room with me, and I was sleeping. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Listen, I mean, it's dark, it's quiet, you know, it happens. We're all
Well, it was a long
adults, we
drive
have
down there,
jobs,
too.
and
I mean,
it's, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely rough. Yeah. You work a shift, then you drive
Right.
hours to get
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
it's
And then
definitely.
it's 2 a.m, you finally sit down, it's dark, it's quiet, your body's like, okay, cool, we're doing this. You just
2 in the morning, we're usually heading back. We're halfway
we're
home.
halfway home.
Fuck this. It's midnight, guys. I'm out.
Yeah. The late nights
I
do
know
get a
that.
little hard.
The second night we were
Yeah.
at Bell Mansion or whatever, I got to a point where I was about to just go lay in a bed like everybody else was still investigating. I was so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We were
half
probably
the
like
team
3 or
didn't even
4.
make it to the investigation part.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because it was during the convention. It was exhausting, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the second night.
Conventions
Though.
are
Second night was
exhausting.
yeah.
Well, you guys went the third night too, didn't you?
Well,
Was that the night you guys
no,
investigated with
we went
Kalani?
to
and all
the
that?
first night we went with ACG, and the second night we were with Kalani and them.
Okay, I didn't make it the second night, so I can't even talk shit. But I also had to drive back from Indiana, so whatever. The next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, conventions
what-
are a whole nother thing because I mean you're on your feet running around all day long. You know, you're exhausted just from that. And then when you
Mhm.
add in 2 nights of investigations, I mean, you need 4 days to recover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're mentally exhausted at the cons too from talking to so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I gotta get out of here for a minute. I need a break.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it pretty
Mikey's
much
actually going to be at ParaPsyCon this year. So
Nice.
will be.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, I was talking to Heisenberg off camera. Like, I got a 2.5-year-old, so it's like I can either investigate or do
Right.
conventions. So it's like I'm
Yeah.
gonna choose to investigate more often than conventions. But
Right.
yeah, it is a good time though, for sure.
Yeah. It's fun, but it is hard when you have kids. I actually luck out because my husband and I have like this agreement. Like he likes to go to the cabin, he goes hunting, you know, he does that kind of stuff. I do my weird ghost hunting trips, you know, and we're not like in a position where we can take vacations together anyways, you know, like whatever, financially for a million other reasons. So it's nice that we just each do our own little thing, take a weekend at a time, you know, and go do our weird stuff that the other person doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But talking about that, what does like everybody's spouse? What do they think of the paranormal?
My husband doesn't even believe in ghosts. So
Okay.
My wife believes in ghosts, but to the point where she doesn't want anything to do with it, and she's always asked me like, "Did you cleanse yourself or get rid of them before you came home?" And you know, she's cool with me doing it. She has no problems, but she like demands that I be careful and not bring anything home with me. So
No
but
Madison ladies.
No.
yeah, no Madison lady. Because the first time I went to Madison, I did bring something home, and she was not happy with me at all. Because it was just weird. Because the night after I came home from Madison, it was a Sunday, and you know, at the time my girls were little, and they like one had been in her bed, the other one just started sleeping in a regular big girl bed, and we heard a girl laughing and like giggling and running around upstairs. I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, I'll go check on them because I thought it was one of the girls. I go up there, they're both sound asleep. I was so afraid to like go back downstairs. So we have a multi-level where it's like only a couple steps down and you can see the living room. So I woke over and I just kind of looked down at my wife and I'm like, it's like, you asshole. I'm like,
it's
I'm
always
sorry. I didn't
scarier
mean
when
to.
it's a kid too. Maybe if
I
it
know,
wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
What really
Wouldn't be so
freaked me
scary.
out though too, and I didn't tell my wife this, was I heard running on the roof right after that. After I like talked to her, I'm like, okay, that's fuck. I'm done. I'm not telling her that. It'll dissipate. I'll pray when she goes to bed or whatever. But yeah, she's definitely not into that part of it. But
Okay.
Sorry,
Heisenberg, what about you?
maniac.
No, My wife's part of our group, and she don't give a
Yeah,
fuck what I do as long as I don't investigate at our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's fair.
always my rule too. Is nothing in the house, but
Yeah, my wife prefers I don't use any of the equipment in the house, even if
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure it's like turning on right. It's like,
Yeah.
turn that shit off. I don't want anything happening.
I mean, I've seen stuff in this house, so I don't really have to like worry about it.
yeah. No, I'm actually I'm trying to create a haunting in the corner of my basement over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an experiment I'm doing. We'll see if it works. It's going to be the most boring
What's up, Joe?
YouTube video in 2 years, guaranteed.
That's funny.
Yeah, but just play some shitty guitar in the background. You'll be right.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've had other people listen to that guitar part. He's talking about the guitar part I've included in some of our documentaries. They say it's creepy. He says it sounds redneck and like, like I'm in West Virginia playing the banjo. But
I don't even really. I mean, Jen's the one that makes fun of you, really. But
Oh yeah,
It's
Jen with
fun.
her flute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Tell her to give me some sick recorder beats, and I'll include those in the documentary.
Oh my
instead.
God. Stop it.
Oh,
So my
power
kids-
just flickered.
My kids asked me the other day, are there people who play the recorder like professionally? And I said, yeah, my friend Jen does.
She's on TikTok. They're like, whoa. These
Yeah.
kids these days, if you're on TikTok, you're goddamn famous.
Yeah.
It's so funny though.
I don't have TikTok, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I'm not a
Um,
TikToker myself, but
I actually just got my own page just because I wanted to do other stuff on it other than just paranormal.
I'm
Sell
horrible
out.
about keeping up with our show page.
Sean's a sellout.
What's that?
I said you're a sellout.
Sean, what do you want to do besides paranormal? I always like to hear what people do, not when they're not doing investigations.
They're conducting
I
this
used to rap
interview,
about it, too,
Denise.
so-
Yeah.
I know this is good. This is good. I always do this
I used
too
to
when I
rap
get
on
on
that,
shows
so
too. I always ask
I put
Yeah.
some of
that's the
our,
way to do
I
it.
put some of my old rap stuff up there. I'll probably put some more future stuff up there. Plus, I do like food blogs and that too a lot too. So
That's cool.
Oh, cool.
yeah,
I like it.
Just eating some shit, huh?
Mikey, what do you do when you're not doing paranormal stuff?
Well, when I don't have the little maniac running around, I actually just finished a book. I'm working on the audio book because I want to release both at the same time. And my game plan is I'm going to have a QR code if you buy the paper copy, it'll be on the inside cover and it'll take you to the audio book, so I can get kind of double sells. But
Nice.
yeah, it's about I interviewed a bunch of people and have some of my own stories from college and high school of inebriated stories. But it's
Oh gosh.
all anonymous. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I want to do a
That's-
live episode with Mikey where a couple of us get drunk and tell some stories on here.
Well, I don't
Oh,
drink
God.
anymore, but I'll still tell
Yeah.
stories.
Probably for the reasons that are in the book.
No. I just my bachelor party, I was hungover for like 6 days, and I was like,
Oh shit.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. But what about you, D Nice? What do you do when you're not doing paranormal stuff?
I have 3 boys. That keeps me pretty busy.
Oh yeah.
I am a real estate agent, so that's like 24/7 job. I am the president of a nonprofit that helps Madison small businesses grow. And I volunteer at Madison Seminary.
Oh wow. So not that
Yeah.
much. You're not
No.
too busy at
No.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for some new stuff to do because I'm bored all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me make us look like idiots.
I know. I'm like,
What are you talking
I
about?
like
I don't
stories
give
about
shit,
drunk
so
people.
I'm not even really worried about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not doing.
I figured I was already down there at the bottom anyway. So
Like, I watch Netflix a lot.
yeah, I fly my flight simulator.
Nice.
That's
I have
about it.
no doubt that Heisenberg could fly a plane at this point
Yeah, right.
if he
Seriously.
had to.
Oh yeah, I totally could.
I bet you could. Says Joe, who's like the king of doing a million things.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
huge compliment coming from you,
Yeah.
sir.
What about you,
So-
Goose? What do you do when you're not talking to the dead folks?
Geez, I don't know. Well, I work for Cleveland Clinic. Basically deliver and install oxygen equipment for some of our home care patients. So that keeps me pretty busy. We're on call like once a week and then like 1 weekend a month. So you could be out for 12, 14 hours pretty easy. And then beyond that, I mean, I got 2 girls, both teenagers. One's in high school, and my youngest is going to be in high school next year. So I got 2 high schoolers already. God damn. They're
It
both
happens quick.
involved. Yeah, they're both pretty heavily involved in band. Like, so I'm basically a band dad.
Nice.
I just, I try to go to as much as I can, as much as my job will allow, and try to volunteer when I can. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that I would love to get into and like start things here and there, and I just never finish them, or they just never take off. But and I do research other paranormal realms besides the ghost stuff. I'm into the cryptozoology and UFOlogy and stuff like that. So keeps me busy.
Now, have any of you guys ever been on any of the like cryptic hunts or anything? Like, you ever look for Bigfoot?
No,
or
I
anything like
want
that,
to,
or aliens,
though.
or...
No, I've done a lot of
They're
reading
never
about
going to
it.
find him. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. He's
Yeah.
not coming out until they win the Super Bowl. I got a plaque that proves it. It says believe in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of cool though. Like a couple years ago, though, Heisenberg and our team was at our team was at the Kent Paranormal Weekend, which unfortunately they don't run anymore. And they did this cool thing where they had they actually took us out into Towner's Woods in Kent, and we like hiked, and we did like a short like ghost box, or it was an EVP session at the Signal Tree, which is this like Hopewell burial mound in the park. And then we went on and we did we had Ed Weiland, who's one of our local Bigfoot hunters. He was like guiding us through the woods and kind of like showing us some things to look for, and apparently he has a lot of cases that come up in Kent, Ohio. So he like
Crazy.
yeah,
They're
I've known
going to
him
use
a
me as
while.
bait.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
use him as a bait, so it was gonna be fun. But he's just showing us some things, some breaks that didn't seem right, like brand new, fresh saplings that were snapped in half and pointing towards the lake, which was weird. And then we were doing knocks, and so he did some calls. But there was something we did hear something along the way. It sounded like something responded to one of his calls, or I can't remember if it was a call or a knock. So that was pretty cool. And then we also had Thomas Wertman, who's like the Ohio head of MUFON, with us on that hike, and we got to this big open area in the middle of the woods. I think it was a sled riding hill, to be honest with you, but it was just big open area where you just had a perfect shot of the sky, and he was just telling us like what to look for, showing us apps, and like we can actually figure out if we see something in the sky. We look on the app and we can like actually tell what flight number it is, if it's an airplane or a satellite and stuff.
Flight radar, and I had it on my previous phone, and I'm still paying for the subscription. And I don't know how to get it on this phone.
Oh, no.
So I mean, that's probably the closest thing I've done to an actual hunt. But I have a project with Dave Wolver in the works that we've been talking about for years now. But hopefully this year we can get some going. And we're talking about doing a live ghost hunt, or Bigfoot hunt, just for shits and giggles. Just the 3 of us camping out somewhere local one night and see what happens. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm like looking through my phone right now. I was trying to find it. I told Mikey about it. They're having something in Uniontown, which is like on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. I think it's in June. They're having a camp out, and I think at least me and Troy, maybe some other people in the group, are going to go to it. They have cabins on the property, and then you can also bring tents, and they're supposed to do some big event out there. And I think it's free too. So
Nice.
I mean, if you
I know
guys would be
Hinsdale
interested,
used
I
to
can
do
find a
something.
date.
I know the Hinsdale house used to do something similar. I don't know if they still do it or not, but they had a big camp out weekend.
They do have a camp out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they have
Yeah.
the house, but there's anybody who's been to Hinsdale knows that there's also like the Cryptic connection there.
Yeah.
People have seen the
puck
puck
wedgies and all that.
Puck wedgies, baby.
Yeah. And then just a lot of people have said they've seen UFOs because you're like at the top of a mountain. You're just
Right.
Yeah.
the view, I've never seen a better view of the sky than I
Mhm.
have from being up there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I spent more time
Beautiful.
outside the house
Yeah.
looking.
We were
Than
the
I did
opposite
inside.
because we went when it was like
Yeah, it was
negative
freezing. I've been
30
twice, but it was
degrees.
Oh,
freezing
yeah.
both times. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually went on a very
Yeah, we had a nice night.
cool, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
The fog rolled in, but then I felt like the fog kind of dissipated pretty quick, and then I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, we saw the sky; it was beautiful. But yeah, hopefully someday, Bigfoot hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I always
Joe, you
wondered,
got to
like,
do it, man.
What do you do when you like say you encounter a Bigfoot? Like
I have no idea.
that's why I never wanted to do it because I'm like,
Right.
oh,
And like,
I'm just
Give it
gonna
a big
fucking die. Like, what
Yeah.
am I gonna do?
because
That's
people
why
are
nobody
like,
ever
"Oh,
talks
let's-"
about finding one.
Yeah, yeah, they're all
Right.
dead.
Yeah.
So
They always
keep
have
looking,
great
guys.
people.
Keep looking.
doing calls and stuff. Like, let's play this call. How do you know that you didn't just say "fuck you" to Bigfoot?
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, and if
That's
it's
a
not
little
Harry and the
scary.
Hendersons Bigfoot, like you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Right.
I mean, he seemed nice.
Harry's awesome.
Harry was
yeah.
nice, but
That's what
you
I'm
can't
Harry
run
was
from Bigfoot. He's got big feet, man. He probably
Yeah.
jumps like.
And also,
Yeah.
you've never seen me run. You would know that that was a bad comment.
My only hope
he's
is to
not
run
gonna
with
help.
Denise.
Yeah.
He's gonna trip you.
Yeah, I think so.
You guys know I'll be the last one clamoring behind you with my badass knees. Oh, just you know what? Just do it, dude. Just take me now. You know, the cool story for them to tell my kids when they get
Yeah.
back.
I'd be yelling, I think you have to
Don't
play
be
dead,
going.
even though I know it's a
Yeah.
bear, but I don't care.
It's not a T-Rex, asshole.
Hey, I mean, Bigfoot may be able to get his jaw down enough. We don't know what he's capable
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. I used to want to do what is it? Oh my gosh, Goose, I always forget the name of it, where it's like it's got the fifth in it, something with the aliens.
Jamboree in the hills.
No, not even close.
Oh,
Something of
There's
the
a five in there.
kind or something.
yeah. Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's like a
I
festival, or what
watched
is that?
one video on
No,
it
it's
and
a
I was like
show.
obsessed.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a
Um,
show. It's called. It's. Do you want to?
No,
Do you want to
you explain it because you know
Okay.
better.
So basically, Dr. Steve Greer is this physicist who used to work really deep with like government NASA programs and stuff, and
So he says.
he was kind of a hornblower with this whole getting the UFO stuff
It's called a
unclassified and like whistleblower. There you go.
Yeah.
Would you
Hornblower.
call it a
I play
worm
trombone.
blower?
Make shit up. Okay.
At least had a hornblower.
But he's like one of the first like physicists from the government that really started like being outspoken to the point where he's been followed by the FBI. He says he's been like, you know, whatever. But yeah, this show is he's behind the show and he talks about the collective consciousness, like people basically in a like sense sitting in a circle meditating with each other to contact alien life forms. And people are taking videos and pictures and getting these like bright red lights that are just like showing up behind them, next to them. Some of them have like humanoid figures, but I mean, that's a very basic explanation of it, but it sounds really cool. We've had Andrea Perrin on our show and we've talked to her a lot about it. And, you know, it's something that's very interesting to us and we'd love to try that. It's a
So you want to
collective
hear the
consciousness.
ADHD version of it?
Yeah.
Because I watched it and I was like, wait a second, I could just think about aliens and then they'll come. So I'm telling my 10-year-old about it, right? And it's nighttime and we're outside. And I was like, Bud, did you know that you could just think about aliens and want them to come and then they will come? And he's like, no way. So I was like, let's try it. So I pointed to an area in the sky and I pointed to it like using landmarks in our yard. Like, okay, look right above that tree right there. And so we both looked and we're manifesting an alien. And like this light appeared, but it was like a star. It could have been a bright star that we missed the first time. And I'm like, that might be a weird coincidence. Let's try it somewhere else. So we turn around and I'm like, okay, right there above that tree, blah, blah, blah. So we do it again and another light appears. And I'm like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. Then all of a sudden we turn around to look at our house and he's like, do you see that? And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking like looking for lights in the sky. And he's like, that man standing on top of the house. And I'm like, what? What? I'm like, no, bud, why don't you just like move around a little bit,
brother.
see, like see what you can, maybe it's like a shadow or something. I don't know. So he moves like 6 feet to the right, moves 6 feet to the left. And he's like, no, it's definitely a guy standing on the roof. And I'm like, okay, let's go inside and we're not going to summon aliens anymore. Okay.
They just traumatized your kid, basically. Is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
That's
Hey, great
essentially,
idea, Mom.
Yeah. Mom of the year.
the Slender Man effect, creating an egregore by using your mind to project and manifest something. That's similar to what I'm kind of doing weird shit in my basement right now.
I'll like
I
it
know-
then. I'm such a fan of manifesting. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Adam Kimmel definitely feels that like Sarah's room at Madison. I mean, he's brought that up in tours that's there's no documentation of a little girl named Sarah dying in the room, but it's just been a story that's been passed for so many years, like even before, way before Adam started, that it's just, you build up that energy and then you just like, it's, he called it a thought form, basically, just thinking about it. Yeah. And making it be, because there's definitely something weird in that room.
Yeah.
Well,
did I
that's
ever tell you what Shelley did?
The Philip experiment. Did you ever about the Philip experiment before?
I think so.
Yeah.
Where it was in like Toronto or something, and they like came up with like a backstory to this spirit and everything, and supposedly like it started coming true and stuff started happening and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what
didn't it happen in Pennsylvania?
What's that?
That was Toronto is where the
Toronto,
Pennsylvania.
Toronto, Pennsylvania.
No, Toronto.
It would be Toronto,
Ohio. Right?
It's northeast of Katanning. But no, that's one thing I've discussed on the show a couple of times is like, we don't know what we're interacting with. So it could be just there's energy at the place. And it could be that it's personifying itself as figures from the past, and it's not actually the deceased ghost or spirit or whatever. It's just the energy, and that's how it wants to interact.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird trying to figure out what we're seeing and what we're hearing.
Yeah, and every time I think I have something maybe figured out, then it's like 20 more questions come up from that. So that's kind of why I just go and have a good time. I'm not trying to solve anything because I know I'm not going to, I just trust it and have a good time.
Yeah. I want to try to reach out to like a location ahead of time and find a name that there's no history of that name at that location. Like we'll pick Fred.
Yeah.
And just go in there all night, investigate, asking Fred questions. Fred, can you do this? Fred, can you do that?
Yeah.
And just see if we get responses and see if we can create that.
Yeah. I
that's
think
something. Yeah. I talked extensively with my friend Frater Crow, used to be part of our team, about is it just we're projecting that? We know the history of the place. So are we coming in with our expectations to interact with these people, and it's showing itself as that?
Right.
I think even with like some like poltergeist activity in that, I think it has to do with the person too. Even when we had that stuff
100%.
happen in Loveland, and I was like what's to say, like I didn't project something that I didn't realize,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a lot of study on that too.
Yeah.
Just we are energy beings ourselves. So a lot of it, I mean, a lot of the documented like poltergeist activity is usually around a teenage girl. But think about what teenage girl is going through at that time. A lot of hormonal changes, a lot of just stuff coming at her.
Yeah.
Especially if she's in a house with parents that fight constantly, or maybe she lost her father. You don't know what, and that's what these cases were. So she would be having one of her moments, and then shit would just start exploding around the house. I mean, but they saw that as her, not necessarily spirit activity. It was her energy just basically exploding and manifesting and like opening doors or just slamming things shut, stuff like that. It's pretty interesting once you get into it.
That's what I'm saying. People underestimate the power of our minds like so much.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start waking up every morning. I'm gonna be like, Mike, you're psychic. every morning as soon as I wake
Yeah.
up and see if it works.
Okay.
I mean, it could. You never know. It
I don't
just
see why it
force
couldn't.
could force your
I'm gonna wake up every
Kept your eye
morning and
open.
be like, I'm a billionaire.
Right, exactly. That's where my thought
Yeah.
went to.
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna wake up every morning and go, Mike is not a psychic.
No.
It's a war.
And I'm gonna wake up every morning and I'm gonna be like, I gotta poop.
That you manifest that shit.
Oh, I manifested.
No, it
Oh
is
my God.
yeah, so with Sarah's room, we were investigating one time and Shelly said, "What would you do if I took everything out of here?" She said, "I'm going to take everything out of this room and I'm going to close the door." And I was like, "Ooh, that would be a good experiment." Because people show up and they bring dolls for Sarah and toys for Sarah and money for Sarah. You know what I mean? Like, what if we just
Yeah.
stopped feeding into it for a little bit? Like,
Yeah.
what would happen? She's like, "I just want to close the door for like 2 months and then see what happens."
Yeah, that's a good
Mm.
idea.
Yeah.
I think you
Right?
should. I think they should.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
know,
that
it's
idea.
fun. Yeah. There's
Now, when
plenty
you-
of
Now, have you
other
guys
That whole
been in the
story.
What?
Go ahead.
have you guys been in the mirror room yet at Madison? Or
I
I
have.
haven't been there since they've completed that. So no.
I have.
anything
I
crazy
feel
happened in
like
there?
I feel like the people who say it's scary are scared. Well, it seems so stupid to say.
Good logic.
But like
No.
the whole building of Madison is very like you get what you put into it, right? Like I've been going there for almost 6 years. I've never been scratched. I've never been hurt. You know what I mean? And that mirror room is like that, but 10 times worse, and it's like a metaphor, sure, but it does like reflect what you're putting out. So I've walked in there and felt like, oh, I kind of like this. You know what I mean? Like it's very creepy because you can see yourself 150 times in every direction.
Yeah.
It is creepy, but I don't feel scared in there. But then there's people who are already scared and have it in their brain that it's the devil's toy box. It's obviously demonic, and then so they'll go in there and those things are amplified and it
Yeah.
makes it scary for them. It's
Yeah.
definitely really cool. But
Yeah,
just,
I want to check it out for sure.
yeah, have a good attitude when you go in there
Yeah.
and you'll be
Need to
fine.
do your experiment in there, Mikey.
Yeah. Get the energy
You
bumping.
could pretty much say that about anywhere in Madison. Make sure you're in a good mood before
Yeah,
you go in.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
like, I don't know, for some reason, if I'm in like just a bit of an off mood, something strange and kind of scary happens. So
Nice.
I
nice.
try
I've
to
only
tell people that.
investigated there once. I mean, we've been there a few times because, like, with the conventions and that. But I've only
Yeah.
investigated
Yeah.
once in Madison.
Yeah, I was only there for convention. I didn't get to investigate yet, but
Yeah.
it looks pretty sweet.
It's fun. It's a cool place.
Yeah.
collab.
Got attacked by a bat last time I was there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the downfall. That's the
Yeah.
downfall.
That's most places though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Shelly running at me with the net. Ray, get it. I'm like, all right, or Hughes, get it.
Going back to the Sarah experiment, if they actually do that and take all of it out, are they gonna if they reopen it, are they gonna put all that stuff back in, or are they
I don't
gonna start
know.
fresh?
It was just
I would start fresh at first just to see if
right.
yeah, you get
Or
that
maybe
interaction or not.
Set it up like an old man's room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of a little girl's room. Like
That's
see what
actually
happens.
Great idea. Yeah, that's what you guys
Yeah.
should do. Oh my
Right?
god, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, way
Wow.
back in the day, that's where Maddie the haunted doll was always put.
Yep.
Right.
Like, and that's
That's probably why it came to
was-
that story.
Yeah, that's well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what the whole story was. The caretaker bought Maddie and left it for Sarah or whatever, and the doll would move around. It'd come back, and it was in a different room. I know Tom told us a story. He put Maddie the doll down in one of the basement rooms and put a bunch of furniture in front of it, and then he opened up a couple days later, and she was up in Sarah's room again. It was like, what?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
all the
Is that doll
the
still at
furniture was still
Madison,
there.
or where's that doll?
Yeah.
at?
Oh yeah,
Madison.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. It was it's the first haunted doll that in the Madison
Yeah.
collection, so it's been there since.
It was
God
one
knows
of
when.
the only usable things that was left in the building
Yeah.
when Adam bought it. The rest of it was like
Yeah.
literal trash, like bags of garbage.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's wild.
I know we went through so much stuff when we cleaned that place out.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The previous owner had like the basement had flooded and there was carpet down there. And instead of like handling that, he just like closed off the basement and said, "Don't go
Yeah.
down there."
Yeah, don't
Like-
go in there. It's flooded. Yeah. It's got black mold and all that shit too.
Yeah.
So sad.
Oh, that's
I'm
wild.
so glad Adam came in and did and took that place over when he did, because
Yeah.
God knows if it would even still be standing now, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part about the whole paranormal scene is just
Yeah.
how many amazing buildings are being saved by it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
And
know
then
Adam's a big part of that too. He seems to, yeah.
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 He's
Adam's
a
Adam's
little
originally
obsessed
from
and I
Pittsburgh
like
too, or
it.
whatever. He lived in the neighborhood right over from me. He lived in Dormont. I lived
Yeah.
in Beachview.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh!
Stay at Heisenberg.
He's coming to the dark side though. He really likes it in Ohio, especially in Madison.
Yeah.
Madison's a good town though.
I wanted to put a background behind Heisenberg, like a big Steelers emblem, but I don't know how you do that on here.
Yeah, I don't think you could do it for other people.
Yeah.
I'd be over here like pulling my hair out.
Stop.
Everybody's gonna see this.
My dad might be watching.
Yeah.
No, it is really cool to see. I think that's my favorite part of going to other locations too, is like the tour.
Yeah.
Like the first little bit. I don't know. I totally nerd out about it too. Like, just to walk the halls of these places and to think about how different life was when those buildings were up and running or when they were built, and all of the different people that have lived in this room or walked down this hallway, or I don't know. I just think it's so cool. And how things were built so much different. Like, now these builders just like build like as cheap and quick as possible, and like that house is not even going to be standing in 50 years, let alone 200. And we have these gorgeous buildings that are still functioning, and it's my favorite part.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's all about cost savings and cutting corners as much as you can. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I think even like before all the paranormal stuff, just like growing up, like, me and my friends would go in abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And just like, I don't know, just like the cool architecture. And I even had a job where my one buddy, he used to clean out houses for sheriff sales. And just going around, like just being nebby through like abandoned houses is kind of cool,
Yeah. I grew up in the country, so we had a, plentiful, abandoned old houses, farmhouses and barns and all that kind of shit, and we had nothing better to do because there's nothing to do. So going through the random abandoned house and being stupid kids, but every once in a while we'd experience something that we couldn't figure out, get the shit scared of us, and that became the house nobody wants to go to anymore.
That's the witch's house, or whatever lore there is.
Now that I look back at it, I'm like, man, if I knew more about, rebuilding a house or renovating, I mean, geez. So those houses were old. I mean, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like if I won the lottery, that's what I would do, is buy some shitty old Victorian house.
Yeah.
And just project by project, take it back to exactly what it needs to be, and then buy another one.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I'd rather have like an old Victorian than like some new like mansion or something,
Oh, for sure.
I would have a house built in that style and well built, and then I would buy some others. But I'm not living without air conditioning and shit like that, man. Like, I don't want to have to settle with any like historical society about what I have to do. So if I build one that looks like it,
yeah.
That's true.
That's one thing
I don't know
Sean
why
and
they
I
don't.
talked about too, is like buying a house that there's no reporting haunting or anything, and then just keep bringing stuff in to see if you
Right.
can create a
How to
haunting.
make
at
it
the house.
haunted, yeah.
Like furniture and
Yeah.
stuff, or
Yeah,
like
it'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, furniture,
maybe,
you know,
yeah.
pieces of different
some-
haunted places.
Get Freighter to
and-
summon something or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. We got some
Let's get
friends that
fucking
can
weird.
do some weird shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's one of their.
what do you guys think about that then? Do you think that furniture is actually haunted?
I think there could be stuff attached to furniture. Like there was some type of like important piece of, I don't know, like a family heirloom that was brought down generations or something. I think it could have an attachment.
I really don't want to believe that.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I would really hope that I would not be like stuck to that piece of furniture. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, what if my kids get rid of it and put it at the Goodwill? Like now I'm just at some random person's house. I would like to think that I have a choice on where to go. And then the other thing too is then would not landfills be like the most haunted places ever?
No one's really investigating them though. They
Thank
could.
you.
Yeah, and I mean,
Could be.
antique stores usually are. We've had quite a few antique
Yeah.
stores that are haunted.
Right.
Yeah.
I've walked around Goodwill before with a K2 just to see if I could pick up readings on shit. And I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, do you believe in attachments like the dolls and stuff like that, or?
I do, but I don't want to. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
I don't want to believe it, but I mean,
Well, I do because that's one of my biggest fears. I hate fucking dolls.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
We,
I mean, I don't know.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry. I was
We
interrupting.
brought in a trunk that someone had given us, and it was from 1890, and it was one of those trunks that like opens up and it's like a whole closet. Like it's got a little spot to hang your clothes. It's got drawers in
yeah.
it and everything. And we brought it into the seminary and put it in there. And the next 2 nights, both of the teams had told me that it was like vibrating, like it was on a train or something, and that they could
Oh, wow.
hear stuff coming from it. So, I mean, like, that's cool if you have a haunted location, but also like, I always think in their terms. In my life, I don't want to be attached to that shelf, and wherever that shelf goes is where I have to go. I
Yeah.
like to think that you have a choice. I hope that you have a choice.
What do you
I think it's just a
everybody
bit of
does.
your.
Probably.
It's just energy hitching a ride to another location.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it's you. I don't think it's your whole soul, your whole like
Mhm.
spirit.
it's
I think it's
But
just
you
a
don't
bit of your
know.
energy.
Could be.
We don't
Residual?
know. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah. I mean, if you touch something enough and you put enough love into something, that's going to go with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean necessarily
Do you think
your
you
spirit
guys-
is going to go with it. But I
You
mean,
think
I don't
you
know.
guys
We
have
don't know.
anything that you'd be possibly attached to?
I think you would give more energy to something you hate.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
Well, that's true too, and I think that's where a lot of hauntings that people report as demonic come from. Just like just hateful people, just grumpy ass old mean people. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Who is
I
that?
don't have anything
That's actually
that I
the
believe.
person that
That's
just
Tina Connor.
said something about the electric chair. That's Tina from Modsville.
I got my phone
Oh, cool.
up
Hey, Tina.
because I was trying to see who it was.
Yeah. That's the thing about
Yeah,
that
I
sucks
do
about
that too.
StreamYard.
I have my
it
phone
just
over
has
on the side here,
Facebook
too.
user, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially something like an electric chair. Holy shit, that's got
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much
Yeah.
intense energy
Uh-huh.
attached to it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Maybe it's not like them. Maybe it's just residual.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
or-
with that to make myself.
Or I
feel
mean,
better.
it can be intelligent too. Like
That works.
maybe what we're interacting with is just parts of the energy of the person. It's not like their soul, like Goose was saying.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing I always thought too, is like when you pass away, they say you lose like, I forget how many pounds or whatever, because the energy leaves your body. If you believe in souls or whatever, then maybe your soul goes to heaven, but there's some leftover energy and it's just
Yeah.
fragmented. Because I never got like, why would people go back to work and haunt work? Why
Thank
would
you.
people
Thank
go
you.
somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like they didn't die there. So it
They're
doesn't
in
make
hell,
sense.
probably.
What's that?
Yeah.
They're in
Going to
hell,
hell.
probably.
Yeah.
For
But that's the thing. It doesn't make sense because they didn't die there. So
Right.
their energy imprints there. And that's kind of part of what my experiment is I'm trying to imprint energy in the corner of my basement and see if like I never got why it happens. Like you have to be dead for your energy to be imprinted
Right.
somewhere. So I'm trying to create an energy imprint in the corner of my basement.
I love it.
And then if I get something that, you know, coincides with that, then
You
I'm going to
open
try
some
to
portal in the
interact with
corner
it
of
the
his
following year.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to keep putting that same energy into it the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
every
They're trying to
night.
grow a ghost.
Yeah. Essentially, like every night at 10 p.m. Then I'm home. I'm not home every night.
Yeah.
But I'll go to the corner of my basement and I'll just go, Mamma Mia!
Stop
I was
it
watching
now.
Mario Brothers, so when I came up with the idea. So we'll see.
Well, his
if
last
they-
name's Bowser, so
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then you have
trying to
to
kill
like,
Mario over here.
you should, first of all, stop telling people about this.
I know, but it's so cool.
But you need to like have a psychic come in and see what they pick up, because I do believe that they pick up on things that, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be a super cool experiment. I'm 100% on board for this. I like it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's I just never got that concept. I actually wanted to try. My great grandfather owned a restaurant in the town that I live in, and my grandma was still alive. She was in a nursing home, but she worked there for a very long time. And I wanted to investigate there while she was still alive to see if I could, you know, pick up her voice or any interactions with her while she was still alive. But unfortunately, like they had scheduling issues. I never got to go in, and you know, eventually she did pass away, unfortunately. But that's one thing I want to try. It's like I want to see if you can, you know.
I bet you can.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense that you'd have to be dead.
Right. And especially places, I don't know, especially places that are more traumatic. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing your ritual in your basement, it's not traumatic. It's not those like strong, those big feelings that like I tell my kids, you know, it's not as strong. So imagine a place that does have things that happen, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy.
My whole
Maybe
fear with
that's-
this experiment is he's going to grow one ghost. It's going to work. That he's just going to build an army. And it's
It's gonna be like, Mamma Mia.
Yeah, and I'm taking over Ohio with my Italian ghost
It's
army.
not happening. That's when I'll call for the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the king of zombies.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
We
Yeah,
zombies against ghosts.
Zombies versus ghosts. It's on, baby.
It's
You just
super
can come in riding on Bigfoot's back.
Hell yeah, dude. I got the army of
So-
Squatch on my back.
Yeah.
Okay, so now do you think that when people see what's it called, doppelgangers, maybe it's just their little experiment, maybe it's just them
Yeah.
staining, you know what I mean, like their energy from
Maybe it was
another time that
your
they
dad's
were there.
experiment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not.
You have a
It's
sibling
true,
out
yeah.
there he didn't tell you about.
Yeah, I know. I might have an older sister, my dad said. I don't know. But no, I agree. Maybe it's not even that they were doing it intentionally.
Right.
It's just they created it and manifested it. And yeah, I agree with that 100%.
But they worked there
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
remember-
Didn't Adam have one? Or Jeff?
Yeah,
Not
my
Madison?
friend's been seeing
Pretty
him there
much
when he's not.
everybody
Yeah,
has
because
had one there.
you guys are there and you work a lot. Maybe that's
Right.
how, like when you guys were talking about your soul kind of it goes to different things. You guys
Yeah.
are already there in Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the location is already. I think there's certain locations that just for whatever reason, the formula is right, and it has a way of just soaking in
Uh-huh.
like a bit of everybody's energy that enters the place. Because I know, like, with like I'll come back to it later because I can't think of their names. I hate when
I just want to.
always.
I don't know, but I do have to get off here because I have to go eat dinner.
Dinner, it's 8:00.
I know they just got home right when we started.
Oh.
And I didn't want to miss it,
Oh.
so
Okay.
that's why.
Just grab dinner and just eat it. No, I'm joking.
Right.
No, that'd be so disgusting. Trust me.
Makes for good TV, though.
But it was nice being on the show, though.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
on.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
We'll
on.
do it again.
Yep. I'll talk to you all later.
Later, dude.
Bye,
Right.
Eisenberg.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Bye.
So what I was trying to say, the Masons were known for
Yes.
building their Masonic temples to trap the energy
Mhm.
Yeah.
of the people that were there. Like like
Because they would
went
build
so
them on a
far,
certain sandstone. Sandstone's
something
one.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
House of Wills was a Mason hall, and
I know.
the guy was built by a Masonic. He was like high degree,
Mhm.
like the highest you can go. So places like that I know are just built to trap that energy on purpose.
Yeah.
So like that
Yeah.
building becomes kind of an entity of its own.
Yeah. Just charged up.
Right.
Yeah. So
Have you
I
ever
feel that
investigated
way as
House of
Madison.
Wills? I'm kind of assuming
yeah.
you guys have. Yeah.
I have not.
I have
Oh, okay.
several times. If I could go back in a time machine and do things differently, I would still have the keys to the building, because I used to be able to like just go
Oh, really?
in and explore. You know, I'm still friends with the owner, but he has a different team that kind of runs things now. But he told me if I ever want to do a collab with anybody, I keep telling like everybody we're going to go there and we're going to do it again. It's just we got to get the timing right. So
Yeah. I just always felt like the outside environment was
Yeah.
scarier than the inside.
oh
Which is
yeah, when
why
the
I
owner
haven't
tells
been
you
there.
have which is why the owner will tell you if you have a sidearm, feel free to bring it with you.
Oh yeah, I had mine,
Yeah.
but
And
I still
Ohio's
felt
a
outgunned.
constitutional carry state, so everybody
Yeah, so
bring
you don't
one.
even have to worry about it like you used to, like a couple years ago. When I
Yeah.
filmed with the last time I was there is when I filmed with Resident Undead for their episode there.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
and I had my gun there too. And the coolest part of the whole night, we didn't even get on film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sounded like somebody was trying to break in on the other side down the end of the hallway. And it's like right then is when our generator went out on us because there's no electric there.
Yeah.
So the lights went down and it was already like negative 20 degrees and there's a huge blizzard coming. It had already started. I'm walking down the hallway and I was like, dude, get your gun. We got to go make sure everything is okay. So I'm like just walking down the gun. I didn't have one in the chamber yet. I was just waiting to make sure we knew what we were doing first. But he just had a, Adam is, he gets so excited. He's like, you put your head around your face around that corner. Bray's gonna just blast you. Just like, I think we're just trying to scare him off, but like that whole time he's got the flashlight right here shining down the hallway. I'm like walking down, like really,
Yeah.
it's like weird. Just I was scared shitless. He knew it. He was making fun of me. He's like, dude, we didn't even get that on video. We needed to get that on there.
Yeah.
Thank God, huh?
That'd make for some badass B-roll for sure.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, there's a lady that named Patty that used to help out there, and she would let us in before I had the key. And there's been a couple times she just walk in and pop a couple off just to let anybody who was in there know that they need to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, we had an experience when we went. I forget who was all leaving early. I think it was April, Phil, and somebody else. I don't remember who else it was. And they wanted me to like help them carry stuff because I'm the
I think it was John. Because I mean, it was
Jen,
me, you, and the Barkers and that stayed.
Yeah, and like I'm carrying this giant thing, and I'm running to the car because I want to get back inside to investigate. And then but also it's terrifying. And I saw this car drive past the parking lot, and they slowed down. And I'm like, everybody start running to your car. And no one's like responding. So I just ran to the car, put the case down. I'm like, you guys need to get the fuck out of here now. Like, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth it for the experiences that we had inside. And it was also kind of sad because I know Eric, the owner, he does what he can, but he has no help, like no money in it. Because it's in such a bad part of town, a lot of groups won't go there.
Yeah.
And because of what he is, he's a modern day not Satan worshiper, he's a Satanist, which is totally different.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
People are afraid to go there because they think it's automatically just to be this big demon house, which it's not. It's sad. I mean, because he had a lot of cool stuff in there. I mean, the place used to be like the NAACP headquarters for Cleveland.
Yeah.
And there were picket signs in there about House of Wills fight for civil rights, like these were old.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King had been there. And it's just, Just a lot of history, so much history
That's
in
what I'm
that place.
saying, man.
Yeah.
And we get to go just investigate that place. And there's
Yeah.
so much
Mm.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
'cause
would
I
just
think-
wish Eric of all things would have like archived some of that and just kind of protected it, because I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
if he, you know.
I think some of the picket signs were still there when we were there. I think they were in one room, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, because
don't
there was
remember.
still a lot of the stuff there. Because we went
Yeah.
probably was that 3 or 4 years ago, I think, somewhere
Yeah,
around. All the
something
years
like that.
blend together, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because I think that was also the first African American owned company in Ohio, or at least Cleveland, I think, if I remember.
Funeral
Yeah,
home or
it
something, I
was-
think,
Yeah, it was
wasn't
a
it?
funeral home,
Yeah, it was. He was Mr. Wills he was partners with another guy. I think it was a white guy. He had a funeral home with another guy, and they, for whatever reason, they separated and went there. And he bought that mansion
Yeah.
and turned it in. Like, you guys have been there. You've seen how
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
that place is. Like when you watch Scooby Doo and there's like hallways going here and all these like, it seemed like just secret rooms and stuff. That's the way it feels, because you can get so lost in there
Yeah.
so easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because it was just added onto and added onto. It's just like you go in the basement and there's this room with like a little stage in it. You're like, what the hell? What the hell is
Yeah.
this? Like, you know, just because it's not from Mr. Will's part, it's from who owned it before, when it was a German music hall, and then it was a school, and then it was like a hospital. It's just so many things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It's
so
definitely
Well,
a
talking
place-
about the whole
Ugh, it's
the whole
the
Masonic
outside.
Lodge thing, we're gonna be the first team to investigate Johnstown's Masonic Lodge coming up. We're supposed to
nice.
film it and
sweet,
everything
man.
too.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. That's a
That's
great
amazing.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
What's up, Holly?
Hey, Holly.
That's what we're.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We're trying to do that with a lot of the historical locations, because
Yeah.
like we talked about earlier, with Pittsburgh, it's really, there's not anything that's like a set location outside of Hillview
Yeah.
at this point.
Right.
And that's not really Pittsburgh. It's like
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably less Pittsburgh than where I'm at now, to be honest with you.
I
Yeah,
just think it's such a good move if you have a historical building. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Adam, one of the reasons I wanted to volunteer there is because he said he uses the paranormal to pay for the historical. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can get behind that. You know, like when I started, I just was there for the history. I wasn't into the paranormal.
Mhm.
But if these locations would just understand, like, we pay for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we'll
Yeah.
pay you to come hang out there. You don't even have to turn the lights on, so you don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they understand like how respectful we are as a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're here because
most
we love
people.
these locations.
Most
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still very sad about losing access to Anna Dean Farm down in Barberton, Ohio. So
yeah.
our group ran the ghost hunts there, and we had my first Paracon that I ever threw was a MS fundraiser, and they let us use it. Just the guy who ran it passed away, and they, you know, the new regime, they kicked us out. They didn't want anything to do with it,
See, and
even
that's
though we
so
were probably
wild
making
to
them more
me.
money than anything that they were doing at the time.
Right,
But, you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what is it now? Is it still the same thing?
I mean, it's still the buildings. They've sold a couple of the buildings and they've repurposed them, but they've kept the exterior the same. And I know they've actually tried to at least keep most of it historical. But like the pig farm, which is where the big building was, that we could have bigger events, because it was beautiful. It was immaculate inside. I mean, it had cemented floors, you know, and they actually renovated even further, but it became like a wedding event venue.
Hmm.
So like even
Okay.
when we started doing ghost hunts, we couldn't even get in there until way after the wedding reception was over.
Yeah.
So and then we
See,
couldn't
that
touch
kind of
the
reminds me
because-
of. Did you guys ever been to Conneaut?
No.
No,
I
I
mean,
want to.
I go
and
to
I'm
Conneaut all the time. But
I'm
your
friends with
Conneaut's
they're-
different.
Conneaut Hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy's he's fixing it up now, and I don't know. The rumors are that he can let paranormal people in there anymore. I know
Well, I'm
they're
friends
supposed to
with
do
Angel,
they have
and
a
she
psychic
says that-
fair in April.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm really good friends with Angel Val. I know you guys are too.
Yeah.
We always talk about getting in there, and because she has access to it because her grandma worked there. So she's got like a family connection to it.
Well,
Is
Sue and
that
Ken were running
Ohio?
Republic
Is
or
it
whatever.
Ohio Conneaut?
No, it's
No, it's
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an old amusement park, and then they had the old hotel too. But the amusement
Yeah.
park, I don't even think anything's left. Maybe I think the Devil's Den might still be there, but they tore out everything else. It used to be really cool because you could just like go explore the place. Like the park was like open, like there wasn't no fences or nothing. You can just go walk around and stuff like
Oh,
that. It
wow.
was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think wasn't it there was a Native American tribe that cursed the land or something? Isn't that the story behind it?
There was some type of rumor, I'm sure.
And
I
then-
don't remember exactly what it was.
And then people started dying at the amusement park, right? Like, wasn't
No,
there
I
a
think-
kid that drowned?
No, is that
You're
You're
thinking
thinking of
of
Lake
it.
Shawnee, I think.
Yeah, I think you're
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
of
Lake
yeah.
Shawnee.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Which we've been there a couple times too. But Conneaut, I don't think anybody died at the park.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. There was people that supposedly died in the hotel.
Yeah, I think in the
but some of
fire,
them-
right?
don't know.
Wasn't there a fire?
Yeah, I
at the
don't know how
hotel?
true that is though, because I heard that was like part of the rumor, but then I heard that fire wasn't even at that hotel; it was like a different hotel. So I
Oh,
don't know if
really?
it's actually true.
That's the thing with urban
There was supposedly
legends.
Right.
There was like a chef or something at the hotel too that supposedly used to like kill people, or at least that was the rumor, but I don't think that's true at all either.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the thing. Do you guys?
But we
have,
did have some activity there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've stayed there before, and like the honeymoon suite is the room that's supposed to be most haunted in there. And me, Jen, and my daughter,
sense.
we all stayed there the one time. And the main thing that happened that I remember is we put out a digital recorder. My daughter, who was probably like 15 at the time, maybe, was talking to the girl spirit, and the girl spirit's supposed to be Angelina, and I remember that because that's my stepdaughter's name. So she's talking to Angelina. And after like she's done talking, you hear a little girl laughing in the background on the recording.
Oh.
So
Oh,
that
that's
was kind of
wild.
cool. But that's the only thing we really had happen in
Oh.
Conneaut.
Yeah. So do you guys have a
Yeah,
lot
look
of urban legend locations?
Oh,
out
yeah.
where- Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Now-
for sure.
What's
We
your
have-
take on urban legends?
I don't know. I think it's just a lot of it is just like there might have been some truth to it somewhere at some point. But I feel like a lot of it is just like meant to scare high school kids and give us something to
Yeah.
do on the weekends. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I feel like every state has at least 2 crybaby bridges.
Yep.
There's always
yeah.
melon heads. There's, you know what I mean?
Lady
maybe
in
not
white.
everybody has melon
The
heads.
Lady
but-
in White, yeah. And,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Some kind
I
of
feel like
cryptid.
maybe there is truth to it somewhere in some city, but not every single city across the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's a
And
big one.
they
Like
do
I
pass
live right
around a
near.
lot.
Yeah. There's a pretty big one. I mean, you guys have probably heard of Helltown.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's out here. Like it's like not even like 20 minutes away from where I live. I live pretty close to the big area. It's actually several areas. It's like Peninsula, Boston, Heights, all that area. There's a lot of abandoned buildings. A lot of them that are still standing, they've actually gone in and have renovated them, and there's like historical sites. But there's all kinds of stories about the army coming in, and there's a monster there, like this toxic waste monster, and then a witch's house and a demonic church. It's just all crazy shit, dude, because people that actually study it, like the demonic church, they call it demonic church because the cross is upside down.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there was an actual sect of Catholicism. That's what their cross looked like on their architecture. That's the way they built
Yeah.
their churches. So okay, wipe that one out.
But
Like
that's
all these
not
abandoned-
fun. That's not
No,
fun.
Yeah.
no.
So like,
But I'm just
let's
saying
call
that
it
that's
a
like
demonic
what's
church.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But we're talking about urban legends and the real story behind them. A lot of those abandoned houses and shit were left because the national park system came in and basically pushed everybody out. Listen, we bought this land and now it's ours, so you guys got to find somewhere else to live. And they didn't have time.
Yeah.
They had to scoot.
get
They had to
out, yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
They had to leave their house, and but then there's all these legends about the house with the bus, and you drive down this road and you see a lights come on, and the bus had like a bunch of dead children in it. Just like it's just crazy shit. But yeah,
Now, do you feel that these
Well, do you have like
places
13
are
bends or
active?
anything like that?
what's that? What'd you say?
I was saying, do you have anything like 13 bends or anything like that? Because I know that's a common thing in Pittsburgh.
What's the
I don't think
13
so.
bends? I'm not sure what that is.
It's like a windy road.
Like
and they're
Yeah,
Oh,
but there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
numerous locations that are after you go through the 13 bends. Like there's
Yeah.
well, there's supposed to be like Hell's Gates at the end or a portal or something.
Yeah,
But there's like
yeah.
numerous
Yeah.
like if you just Google 13 bends in Pittsburgh, they'll show you 5 different locations of where it's at.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a road through Helltown that ends in just like where it just like the police put up "Do not enter." So you're just going down this dirt road up this hill and it just stops. Well, it's just because there's nothing. It's just overgrown.
Right.
It was a closed road, but people
Yeah.
call it the end of the world, and say if you walk past it or something, you're going to get eaten or attacked
Yeah.
by the Peninsula Python or whatever
Yeah.
it is. I don't know, but yeah,
Another common one is the Shades of Death. Shades of Death Road's another one. And it's like in the area. The real one's supposed to be in Novella, I heard, but I've heard like 3 or 4 different locations about.
But that's
Shades of
like
Death, too.
the real
Yeah.
Ray's Pizza in New York City. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, have you investigated those places? Because we've investigated several, and it seems like there is energy there at a lot of them, but it's not, what the story doesn't match the
Right.
energy, I guess.
Because
you get.
like Ray was saying, teenage girls are filled with energy, and it oftentimes gets mislabeled as other things. Okay, I know for a fact when I was a teenage girl, we used to just drive around and look for these places, and we would get super scared and we would scream and run back to our cars and whatever. So yeah, there's probably tons of energy at all of these places,
Mhm.
but it's probably just a bunch of teenage high school girls,
Yeah.
who got really
Yeah.
scared and left an imprint of that. And when you multiply that by thousands over decades, it's going to be
When
active.
I haven't investigated Helltown, but I've stopped at some of these places and just kind of walked around, like where I'm legally allowed to go.
Yeah.
And even though I know all the stories behind the place, there is always that weird feeling. I think a lot of that though is just the land itself, because it was a very densely populated Native American area at one point. So there's a lot of that just spiritual energy, I think, anyways there.
Plus,
and
there's just
I
something
know
creepy about being somewhere, I don't know, like
That has a story
you're-
behind it.
yeah.
the little old towns in the middle of nowhere in a big valley,
Yeah.
it's just
Weird.
it's creepy in and of itself.
It's apocalyptic. Just walking around a town that's like
Yeah.
vacant.
I love it to death, though. I love that feeling. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like drugs.
Yeah.
Give me that some spiritual energy.
Oh, that's great.
That's the stuff. Oh.
Pittsburgh, you guys also have the Time Traveler
The time
from
travel.
it was like the 1980s. Kimmel told me about it. So apparently in like Nazi Germany, they were studying time travel, and supposedly, according to some records, the Allies went into some lab and they had some guy who ran. He was trying to escape, and he got into something that was it was shaped like a bell, and it disappeared. They never found this guy. And then like in the 1980s, there was what they called an acorn, but it was a bell shape. It just appeared in the field, and some guy got out of it, had a pistol in his hand, and was wearing like a uniform, speaking a different language as he ran away and hid. And so there's people that believe that he was a time traveler, and that's where he ended up.
I never heard
Well,
that
that
story.
whole thing with the what was it? Kecksburg had the acorn UFO thing or whatever.
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah. Is that the place that Freighter they made that documentary?
I'm not sure. Possibly.
I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear the time traveler aspect, but yeah, I've heard the same, like what Sean's saying, that it was a UFO in an acorn shape. But yeah, they still have that there in the town too. I don't know if they say it's the original one or not, or if it's like a replica of what everyone saw. But
I would assume that the original was confiscated by the CIA.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know what the urban legend is there, though.
So you're telling me the Mothman statue isn't actually Mothman?
Yeah.
What?
They blew up the Kittanning Bridge in the Mothman prophecies, and you're telling me that didn't actually happen? No, that's where like my home area is. They filmed the Mothman prophecies, and they're like, what looks like 70s garbage town? Oh, Kittanning, yeah. Let's blow the bridge up. Oh man. But yeah, I think if that's the same place that Frater that they did the documentary, he did a spirit box session there because it's supposed to be big on UFOs too. And he said his spirit box just fried completely.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So there's definitely something there, whether it's a time traveler, a UFO, or a big squirrel. Who knows?
Yeah.
Going for them acorns.
Right.
Well, that's what originally the spirit boxes were built for, to contact UFOs. Like Frank Sumption is one of the biggest names that I know. I talked to him before he passed away, but his daughter had passed, but he was into like tinkering with radios to try to pick up radio waves from space. Right? Yeah, yeah. But he started getting like his daughter's voice through them, so it was like completely by accident. But that's eventually where that whole thing went with just now we have what we call spirit boxes. But oh yeah, Frank's boxes, man, people would pay thousands of dollars for those things.
Oh yeah.
I know some people who've had. I think Jeff Fent has one. But yeah. But
yeah,
guys, I have to get off here. Actually, here, I got to go pick up my daughter from jazz band. Talking about band dad duties.
Yeah, no worries. we can cut it here. Do you guys have anything coming up that you guys want to promote?
Anything you want to promote? Yep.
Yeah, next weekend we got Potographs Parafest 5. It's a convention run by Tim Miley and several other people. All the proceeds go to the Huron Valley Humane Society. Yes, thank you. And but it's a big party, and like the first time we went there, we automatically felt like family. But it's a big deal. It raises a lot of money. It touches a lot of people. So we'll be there next weekend, actually. Friday and Saturday. So Friday night from like 5 to I think 9 or something, and then we're all day Saturday. So that's up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. If you guys want to buy tickets, or even if you just want to donate, go to potographsforpooches.com and donate. And then we just got a bunch of other conventions we're going to see you guys at coming up. So the big one's Paracyclone. Yep.
You guys need to come over to the house again too. We rented the same house.
Did you?
Hey, if I seriously, dude, I will throw in, and I will.
I am not sleeping on that futon again, though.
I'll sleep on the futon. We'll figure it out.
All right.
If you guys are looking for some roomies, let me know. I will throw in some money on that.
Yeah, that was fun.
We did the one year. I drove back and forth from Mansfield to my house both nights, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
You know what lives rent free in my brain is when I went over to the next door neighbor's house all intoxicated, and I was like, I think there's a raccoon in your chicken coop.
Well, it sounded like it. Like, I mean, you didn't have to be drunk to hear it. There was some commotion going on.
But the dude answered the door. He answered the door by saying, "Well, you're not going to kill me." And I was like, "No, sir." I think that you have a raccoon in your chicken coop.
You're like, "No, sir, I'm not going to kill you, but the raccoon in your chicken coop may."
It was some kind of
though.
It was some kind of poultry though that was making the weird noise that he was raising, wasn't it?
Quail.
Quail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was a lesson learned.
Yeah, so now we know.
All right,
nice.
But yeah, cool, I think that's it. I mean, we got flashlight tours at the seminary coming up in March.
Oh yeah,
awesome,
cool.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. It's good to be on too because we're not on tomorrow with our show. So
right.
Oh, you get a break a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
It's nice being on this side of the microphone every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna assume that Sean has some creepy video to play of him.
All right. Is it us again?
maybe.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can find us here, and here, and here. Don't forget, everybody needs a little bump in the night.